Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the summary of our Research Industry 4.0 research findings. So my name is Bhaskar Radhakrishnan. I'm part of NTT Data Services. I'm a strategic advisor within the manufacturing business unit responsible for the strategy, go-to-market, and some of the transformation initiatives, particularly focused on Industry 4.0, customer excellence, and the workforce transformation. So today we are going to talk and discuss about some of the research findings of Industry 4.0. And along with me, I have my colleagues from Oxford Economics. I'm going to turn this over to them for their introduction.
Great. Hi, I'm Terry Robinson, and I am the managing editor of the tech practice and the thought leadership at Oxford Economics.
And I am Matthew Reynolds. I'm a research manager on the technology team here for thought leadership at Oxford Economics.
So, sponsored by NTT Data, Oxford Economics surveyed 528 business and IT executives at manufacturing and manufacturing-related organizations with at least $500 million in annual revenue to see how they are preparing for Industry 4.0 transformation, and including company strategy adjustments, technology investments, and the barriers that they face along the way.
Right, and the survey went out to 528 executives in the United States and Canada. We had an emphasis on US respondents. 72% of our respondents were head decision makers at their organization, and 28% were direct reports to those head decision makers. It's important to note that this survey was conducted in June and July of 2021, so it still reflects that turbulent business environment post-pandemic.
So the pandemic and its disruptions put manufacturing-related sectors in a bind, forcing them to train their focus not just on recovery, but also on increasing resilience and reducing risk, right? In the face of global change, the way customers wanted to receive and use products and services shifted significantly. To meet those needs, and remain competitive and even thrive, manufacturers were forced to adapt. Over the next few years, and strategic goals will focus on market-facing priorities, customer experiences, and new business models to deliver goods and services, as much as inward-facing objectives like reducing cost or improving operational efficiencies. But to meet customer expectations, manufacturers must revisit how they offer and deliver these products and services, and creating new business models and revenue streams will be critical for survival in the coming years. This is a key component of successful adaptation as business landscape continues to evolve and change and disrupt.
That's right. And our survey continues to reveal this reality. Exactly 1/4 of manufacturers in our survey say creating new products, services, and business models was a top 3 goal 3 years ago. But 37% expect this to be a top priority in 3 years. That's a 48% increase, and the largest increase of all of the business priorities we had in our survey. And many expect this Industry 4.0 initiative to have a direct impact on strategy and performance, because nearly half say new business models and revenue streams is going to be a top 3 factor in these areas.
And with those new business models, new products, and new services come new avenues that manufacturers can create with customers, and which will generate valuable data. Some manufacturers in our survey are showing strength in this area. 40% of manufacturers say strong data practices are critical to carrying out meaningful change. And nearly 3/4 of those who buy into the data-driven future have already incorporated the collection and analysis of customer data into processes in at least some areas of the business.
Yes, and I believe I'm sharing my screen now, and you can see that this path is perilous because many of our respondents have run into challenges already. See, more than 1/4 of respondents say that the amount of data sharing needed to make transformation work is increasingly difficult to attain because of growing customer resistance to data disclosure.
Well, and that's not surprising. With news breaking daily of major data breaches and ransomware attacks like the one on Colonial Pipeline, and customer data for sale on underground forums. As manufacturing executives increase their focus on customers and all things external, they must be careful not to lose sight of the operational needs required by transformation. Every change has a mirror image internally, requiring new processes, new technologies, new training and skills, and the like.
Something to that effect we chose to examine 12 distinct elements of Industry 4.0 because we believe customer needs and resilience or significant motivation behind digital transformation, internal operations to better meet those needs, and it's critical to Industry 4.0 success.
That's right, Bhaskar, and that brings us to a pretty critical piece of our research, which was the progress of transformation so far. As you can see on the following chart on the left-hand side, we know that transformation in specific Industry 4.0 areas is not incredibly high across the board. No more than half of our respondent base says any of these Industry 4.0 areas will be important in the coming years. But those who have already begun the journey are considerably further along. And that second chart on the right shows the implemented in some or implemented in all areas.
Okay, and we can see that using data, sensors, and digital workplace services to manage employees is not only the top area of focus for manufacturers going forward at 49%, but also the area where respondents have progressed the most.
Yeah, and when we take a closer look at industry views, we can see that those in high technology industries, along with the oil and gas sector at 88% and 74% respectively, and the automotive sector too, at 69%, are slightly more likely than others to be doing this. And I'll turn this chart off now. So what kind of steps are executives specifically taking to boost their workforce? We can see that the digital workplace is clearly a priority here, Terry.
Yeah, that's right, Matt. And they're taking quite a few steps, which depend on size and industry. Our survey shows that 70% of all respondents have taken steps to reskill employees to work with digital technologies, for example. And another 66% have trained workers to work within the new processes that emerge from this tech change. Others have planned for the inevitable skills gap that these changes will bring by turning to external sources of skills, as nearly 2/3 have changed hiring efforts to acquire new workers.
And here we see an opportunity to prevent risk. Our survey indicates that just 18% of manufacturers have fully developed partnership with the organization they work with, but they are still important, and clearly as 3 out of 5 respondents have started building new partnership within the past few years. This could be a critical oversight, but we believe, or rather we view it as a chance for reconsider how deep your partnership may be with other players in the value chain. That's all. There is always a room for improvement.
And many aim to achieve that improvement through technology investments that boost efficiency. So obviously there's no going back to the way things were, as the global events of 2020 have shaken things up significantly, to say the least. But technologies like cloud, analytics, automation, IoT, AI, machine learning, these were seen as critical differentiators before the pandemic happened, and that has not changed since.
Absolutely correct. And we see each of these technology findings, their place in the manufacturing process. Some tools like cloud and automated workflows are primarily used in day-to-day workforce operations. Data analytics and area manufacturers have already identified as important in the coming years, see steady use in services-based business areas like customers and sales operations and after-sales work.
And if we look all the way to the right of that graphic too, we can see that both IoT and AI and machine learning are seeing use in production operations and maintenance. Unsurprising, as predictive maintenance gains even more popularity across manufacturing sectors. Other technologies like edge computing, augmented and virtual reality, digital twins, and blockchain are beginning to see some use, but these have yet to grab a strong hold on consistent use. So let's look at some of the key takeaways for executives. Matt?
Sure, and there's a lot of other data in this research that we simply don't have time to cover in this video. But from our discussion, I think there are a few things that have emerged. Bhaskar, you want to go first?
Sure, absolutely. The first thing is customers must be the primary driver for Industry 4.2 decisions, right? The end user, the wholesalers, the manufacturers sell to, or the other users down the chain of use, they must all benefit from these choices. And any number of Industry 4.2 efforts can lead to value to the customer, but it is important to note that each sub-industry has its unique needs. So we covered these in the main report, and we advise everyone to see how their industry stacks up.
They must keep workforce development decisions going as well. Manufacturers are doing quite well in this area, but it may be time to broaden who they consider the workforce. Keep vendors and suppliers close and integrate your work patterns to make sure you're on the same page. The global health crisis has thrown a wrench into the industry's operations. It may be time to revisit how you work together, and perhaps there's a better way to meet your shared goals.
Yes, and finally, manufacturers must use technology to build on the lessons they learned during the pandemic. The tools that are at a manufacturer's disposal are plentiful, and a new wave is coming quickly. Real-time information gathering and data sharing could alert companies to potential threats, and this adaptability could mean the difference between shutting down and keeping the line moving.
Awesome. So thank you so much for listening to our summary of the findings, and we look forward to helping you with your transformation initiatives as well. Thank you.